Hello, in this video let us discuss solving quadratic equations by factoring. Let us solve the following quadratic equation. Say we have x squared plus 7x plus 10 equals 0. So, in order to solve this, we need to find the values for x that will satisfy this equation. And we have to use factoring. Because if we factor this, we will later use the zero product property. And this is in the form of x squared plus bx plus c. So, the factored form is the product of two binomials, wherein the first terms are both x. And the constant term, c, is equal to 10. Let us write here 10. And let us list down all of the factors for 10. Negative 5 times negative 2, 5 times 2, 10 times 1, negative 10 times negative 1. And among this list of pair of factors, the one that has the sum of positive 7 or plus 7 is 5 and 2. Therefore, we will write here plus 5 and then plus 2. At this point, we're done factoring. And this is where the zero product property comes in. Zero product property states that if we have a times b equals 0, it means each of the factors a and b must be equal to 0 as well. So in that case, we can treat this as a, one of the factors, times b, the other factor, is equal to 0. So let us equate each of these factors to 0 separately. First, x plus 5 equal 0. And the other one, x plus 2 equals 0. And then we have to solve for x. Let's begin with this equation. Transpose 5 to the other side and make it negative. Therefore, x, we call it x sub 1, equals negative 5. And the other equation, transpose 2 to the other side, it becomes negative. So we have x2 equals negative 2. So these are the solutions. Take note, we have two solutions, x1 and x2, because this is a quadratic equation and the degree is 2, which means we have two solutions. Next, let us solve the following quadratic equation. Say we have x squared minus 9x plus 20 equals 0. Okay? This is in the form of x squared plus bx plus c. So, the factored form is the product of two binomials, x and x, equal 0. The constant term is 20. Let us list down all of the factors for 20. 10 times 2 is 20. Negative 10 times negative 2 also is 20. What else? 5 times 4. Negative 5 times negative 4. And among this list of pair of factors, the pair that has the sum of negative 9 is negative 5, negative 4. Therefore, let's write negative 5, negative 4. And now applying the zero product property, we will equate each of these factors to 0 separately. First, x minus 5 equals 0. And the other one, x minus 4 equals 0. Solve for x. Let's begin with this equation. Transpose negative 5 to the other side. So we have x1 equals positive 5. And for the other equation, transpose negative 4, we have x2 equals positive 4. So here's our solutions. Next, let us solve the quadratic equation x squared minus 4x minus 32 equals 0. Again, this is in the form of x squared plus bx plus c. So the factored form is the product of two binomials, wherein the first terms are both x. The constant term is negative 32. Let us list down all of the factors for negative 32. 16 times negative 2, negative 16 times 2, what else? 8 times negative 4, negative 8 times 4. And the pair of factors that has a sum of negative 4 is negative 8 and 4 right here. Therefore, we have minus 8 and plus 4. We're done factoring. Let's apply the zero product property. Equate each of these factors to 0. X minus 8, this factor, equal to 0. Let's solve. Transpose negative 8 to the other side. So x1 is equal to positive 8. While the other equation should be x plus 4 equal to 0. Transpose 4 to the other side, make it negative. So x2 equals negative 4. Next, let us solve the following. 2x squared plus 7x plus 3 equals 0. Okay, this time this is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. A is positive 2, the leading coefficient, while the constant term c is 3. Alright? Now, the product A times c is equal to 2 times 3 is 6. Okay? And let us write here 6. The factors for 6 are 6 times 1, negative 6 times negative 1, 3 times 2, negative 3 times negative 2. And the pair of factors that has a sum of plus 7 or positive 7 is 6 and 1. Therefore, let us rewrite 2x squared, and then instead of plus 7x, we will replace them, or we will replace it by 6x plus 1x. So plus 6x plus 1x, or simply plus x. And then let's proceed. Plus 3 equal 0. And then we will factor by grouping. Let's factor these first two terms and the last two terms. For the first group, the GCF is 2x. So 2x. And then 2x squared divided by 2x, that's x. 6x divided by 2x is 3. So plus 3. For the second group, the GCF is simply positive 1. So plus x plus 3 equals 0. Now, the factored form is 2x plus 1, 2x plus 1, and then times the common factor, x plus 3, equals 0. At this point, we're done factoring, but we're not yet done solving for the solutions. Zero product property, we will equate each of these factors to 0. 2x plus 1 equals 0. Transpose 1 to the other side, it becomes negative. So 2x equals negative 1. And divide both sides by 2. So x1 is equal to negative 1/2. The other equation, we have x plus 3 equals 0. Transpose 3 to the other side. So x2 is equal to negative 3. Next, let us solve the following. 3x squared minus 11x plus 6 equals 0. This is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. The leading coefficient is positive 3. The constant term c is 6. Let's multiply. 8 times c is equal to 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, so let us list down all the factors for 18. 6 times 3, negative 6 times negative 3, 9 times 2, and then negative 9 times negative 2. The pair of factors that has a sum of negative 11 is negative 9 and negative 2. Therefore, let us rewrite this as 3 x squared, and then instead of negative 11x, we will use this. So minus 9x minus 2x. And then plus 6 equals 0. Now we will factor by grouping. For the first group, the GCF is 3x. Alright? So let us write 3x, and then 3x squared divided by 3x, that is x, while negative 9x divided by 3x, that is negative 3. For the second group, the GCF is negative 2. Negative 2x divided by negative 2, that is positive x. 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3, equals 0. The factored form is 3x minus 2 times the common factor x minus 3 equals 0. At this point, we're done factoring. Let us apply the zero product property. Equate this factor to 0 and then solve for x. 3x minus 2 equals 0. Transpose 2 to the other side, it becomes positive. 3x equals 2. And then divide both sides by 3. So x1 is equal to 2 over 3. Now the other factor, x minus 3 equals 0. Transpose negative 3 to the other side, therefore x2 is equal to positive 3. And here's our solutions. Next, let us solve the following. 4x squared plus 12x plus 5 equals 0. The leading coefficient a is 4, while the constant term c is 5. Therefore, the product a times c is 4 times 5. That's 20. So let us list down all the factors for 20. We have 10 times 2, that's 20. Negative 10 times negative 2. What else? 5 times 4. Negative 5 times negative 4. And the pair that has a sum of positive 12 is 10 and 2. Therefore, let us rewrite our quadratic. 4x squared, and then instead of plus 12x, we will use this. Therefore, we have plus 10x and then plus 2x. And then let's proceed. Plus 5 equals 0. We will now factor by grouping. So let's group these first two terms and the last two terms. For the first group, the GCF is 2x. 4x squared divided by 2x is 2x. 10x divided by 2x is positive 5. While for the second group, the GCF is simply positive 1. So 2x plus 5 equals 0. 2x plus 5 is common. Therefore, the factored form is 2x plus 1 and then times 2x plus 5 equals 0. And it's time to apply the zero product property. Let's equate this first factor to 0 and solve for x. 2x plus 1 equals 0. Transpose positive 1 to the other side. 2x equals negative 1. Divide both sides by 2. So x sub 1 is equal to negative 1/2. For the next factor, 2x plus 5 equals 0. Transpose 5 to the other side. 2x is equal to negative 5. Divide both sides by 2. So x sub 2 is equal to negative 5 over 2. So here's our solutions. Next, let us solve 5x squared minus 8x minus 4 equals 0. This time, let us apply the other method for factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. So, A, the leading coefficient is 5. The constant term is negative 4. AC is equal to 5 times negative 4, that's negative 20. And then let us rewrite this as, let us remove the leading coefficient, so x squared minus 8x, and then replace negative 4 with negative 20. So minus 20 equals 0. Let us factor. So this becomes the quadratic trinomial in the form x squared plus bx plus c. So we have x here, x here. The constant term is negative 20. The factors are 10 times negative 2, negative 10 times 2, 5 times negative 4, negative 5 times 4. And the pair of factors that has a sum of negative 8 is negative 10 and positive 2. So we have minus 10 here and plus 2 over here. And then we will return the leading coefficient 5 by dividing the digits or the values by 5. Now let us apply the zero product property. So equate each of these factors to 0. First, x minus 10 over 5 equals 0. 10 divided by 5 is 2 equals 0. And then transpose 2, rather negative 2 to the other side. Therefore, x1 equals positive 2. And then the other equation, or rather the other factor is x plus 2 over 5 equal 0. Transpose positive 2/5 to the other side and make it negative. So x sub 2 is equal to negative 2/5. So here's our solutions.